Our next speaker is Kate Webb.
In Milwaukee, the difference in life expectancy between someone who lives in the 53217 zip code, which includes Whitefish Bay, and the 53206, just west of Interstate 43 and slightly north of downtown, is 12 years. How could it be that two areas only about a mile apart could have such a large and distinct impact on how long someone is expected to live? If you're familiar with Milwaukee, imagine driving or walking in these neighborhoods. What do they look like? You can probably picture some differences, such as the number of parks or supermarkets that are within walking distance. We know that life expectancy is related to wealth and opportunities. Decades of research has shown that stress and poverty can get under the skin and impact both physical and mental health. One approach to investigating how and why this happens is by examining the individual. We can study someone's habits, analyze their age, and look into their income and education. Psychologists are particularly interested in education and income because fewer years in school and lower pay is significantly associated with various mental health outcomes, including depression and anxiety. Historically, studies on mental health have focused on the individual, which I find strange because this approach largely disregards the political, social, and economic factors that determine whether someone continues on in school and how much money they're going to earn. It places nearly all of the responsibility on the individual and none on the environment. In fact, research on environment suggests that higher rates of neighborhood crime, exposure to pollution, and fewer educational and employment opportunities within your neighborhood actually predicts poorer mental health. In my research, I investigate whether neighborhood impacts brain structure. I use a measure of neighborhood that takes into account things like housing quality and the income of all of the residents in the neighborhood. In our lab, we recruit participants from all over Milwaukee from all different backgrounds and take images of their brains. My findings suggest that living in a disadvantaged neighborhood is significantly associated with certain brain regions being smaller or thinner, which usually means they're less healthy. These brain regions are associated with various different functions, like memory. This suggests that where you live could actually be affecting your ability to remember things like addresses, and it may be just one way that where you live impacts your health. There is good news though. The brain is absolutely incredible, and these changes usually aren't permanent if interventions are delivered in a timely way. My hope is that these findings provide additional support that brain research is a really important tool in identifying and addressing health differences in neighborhoods and in individuals. I hope that this project can fuel the development of interventions and policy changes that help neighborhoods and more broadly help create a healthier Milwaukee. Thank you.